There was an event to discuss protecting women's sport at a Davis, California public library, and it was shut down Sunday after library officials accused the first speaker of violating California law by misgendering male athletes who were competing in women's sports. They later accused this speaker of being disruptive. Here's that exchange.
I need to know why I'm being told to leave. Can you tell me why? I was a speaker. I was a speaker at this meeting. So I will leave the building if you can tell me why I need to leave the building.
Wow. Well, the woman who was being told to leave the event, in spite of the fact that she was the speaker at the event, is Sophia Lorey. She is a former collegiate soccer player who now serves as an outreach coordinator for the California Family Council, and she is also very dear to us here at FRC, having been a former intern here with us. Well, she joins me now from California to discuss all of this. Sophia, welcome to Washington Watch. It's great to see you again.
Great to see you. Thank you for having me here.
Well, it's our pleasure, and listen, thank you for your courageous leadership and you're standing strong. We appreciate all that you're doing. Listen, let's just begin with the whole event. We heard the clip, we saw the clip. There were others there. There's a lot of noise in the kerfuffle of it all. But tell us about the event and what happened.
Well, Moms for Liberty of Yolo County here in Northern California was just hosting a forum on fair and safe sports for girls. The whole goal was just to let those in the community be aware of how women and girls are being put in unfair and unsafe situations in sports. And I was the MC and the first speaker, and within about a minute of me speaking, the event was shut down.
Wow. Well, listen, let me just tell you, Sophia, there are certain times where these things happen and they confirm that you're on the right side of an issue. When you consider the audience and those who shut you down, you know you are pushing in the right direction. But without getting into all the particulars of the California law, this was clearly a violation of the First Amendment, which, of course, the First Amendment is federal law, which trumps any state law. And I think it was one of your colleagues there or another speaker who actually went up to the podium and made clear that you were there and you had the right to free speech and the audience was free to leave if they wanted to. But of course, that message didn't fit well with the agenda of the library officials. What do you think was the rationale behind them shutting it down?
Well, like you said, there really was no rationale because they were violating my First Amendment right. They claimed I was misgendering someone by stating men should not be in girl sports, and yet no one should be punished for stating a biological fact.
Yeah, I mean, how is that misgendering? I mean, even with you saying so, I mean, it's as obvious as night and day. But you were in California, so things night and day is a little bit different out there. Listen, I want to tell you, you really handled yourself well. You handled the situation well. It was a very hostile crowd, and you stood firm and you stood extremely poised. And I want you to know, Sophia, here on Washington Watch, you are allowed to call men men. You are allowed to call women women. So you were shut down. Why don't you give us a summary of what you would have shared had you been allowed to continue speaking?
I was simply just there to share my own story. I wasn't talking about other people. I wasn't giving anything in regards to the law. I was simply there to state that when I was 10 years old, all I wanted to be was a college soccer player. And I achieved that goal at 18. I was able to play college soccer all 4 years. And that my heart is broken that current girls today can't achieve this same goal because men are taking their spots on the teams. Yet my story was apparently controversial and was, again, shut down.
Wow. So where's this all going to go from here? Do you know, is there going to be any action taken against the library?
Well, we're currently looking into our best option because government officials should not be able to remove my freedom of speech. So we're taking those next steps, as well as I just want the story to get out there because I don't want any other girl to experience what I had to go through at that library.
Well, that's great to hear because both of what you just mentioned, both points need to be taken. Protection of your story and other women, but also to stand up when people uh, disregard and disrespect your First Amendment rights. We have to stand up against this stuff. And again, thank you for doing so. Do you think anyone at the library there even recognizes their mistake? Were they more concerned about just not letting you speak? Uh, do they realize that they really trampled your First Amendment rights?
Well, I can't speak on behalf of what they're thinking now. We haven't seen any statements or comments from them, but I can speak on the fact that they evidently thought that your First Amendment right disappears when you have differences in your ideologies. And so I want to make sure that the whole world knows that, and here in America, our opinions do not make us silent.